Okay. Okay, so I thought about it, right? I got it. So that's the component that was missing to bring this all together, right? You're, let's say you don't have money for these expansion packs, right? You're a kid. Back in the day, we were kids. You'd be lucky if we even got the base game, okay? I think I probably only gotten like, in all my years playing Sims, 2 expansion packs in my whole entire gaming thing because my parents weren't going to play. They weren't going to pay for it because their rationale was like, do you need it for it to work? Because if it already works, why do you need more? That one is fine. So you just may do with what you have. So let's say you get an different expansion pack. Like, well, let's say you have 1 expansion pack, but like another 2 or 3 come out, and now you're thinking about, damn, yo, I really wish like I had that expansion pack. I wonder how it would feel to like be city living instead of what was the other one? City living instead of like, yeah, I wonder how it would be to have like the city living expansion pack instead of the island living expansion pack. Or I wonder what it would be like for this get famous expansion pack, but I'm just like in Seasons expansion pack. Like I could just, yeah, I think Seasons is just like it added like the beach, mountains, or whatever. So like you really want to be famous, but you're just like, I don't know, just quote unquote. I don't want to say nobody, but like I'm just hearing like, just someone who's just out and about traveling, seeing the world, but just waiting for their big break. So it's like getting focus on the expansion packs, quote unquote, that you don't have instead of the quote unquote expansion pack or the game or the journey that you do have, and that's before you right now. Because yeah, like all the time you spend, like, I guess, quote unquote, complaining or like moping and like just being sad about the things like you don't have and sulking in that, then it's kind of like, at that point, how are you able to pay attention? Like, the thing is, when you're acting that way instead of being, I guess, grateful for the position that you have now. Because look at yourself right now. If you go in the mirror and you look at yourself right now, there are so many people right now that would kill, literally kill, like they would do just about anything. I don't want to say kill, but like, they'll do just about anything and everything to be in the position that you are in now if they had the chance. Even though you may not feel that way about yourself, someone out there feels that way, right? And that's all because they're not focusing on what they're supposed to be doing. And it's kind of sad because it's like, we're not even going to the same place. Like, how, okay, let's say, okay, you're with a sibling, right? It's like them getting upset that y'all both are going somewhere. Like, let's say y'all traveling, y'all both had the same departing date, right? And y'all just happen to cross paths, right? But it's getting mad because you have a flight to catch and they have a layover. It's just like, really? Like, and not even getting mad, but like, it's just like parting ways, saying bye, and then you go off to catch the plane. Or maybe it's the other way around. You have to wait, right? Let's say you have the layover and they have to run and catch a plane. It's like getting sulking because they had to go or you had to stay, vice versa, whatever, right? Does that even make any sense? It doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't, especially if you really like the idea of coincidence and then you match it up with everything else. It's like, nah, something greater is happening. And once you really like, because the way that I see it, what do you really, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain once you start really listening to yourself. Because what I realized is just like, a lot of people, they, because at the end of the day, like it could listen, at the end of the day, it could only go two ways. And I don't know, good, bad, or your version of what would be good and what would be bad, right? And every decision that you made, before you even made it, you received an intuitive nudge to do it, not to do it, whatever. You received a red flag, like you knew, you had an inkling, and you decided to either go with it or stay with it. And it's kind of like taking accountability for the decisions that you've made, and then vowing to, I guess, or promising yourself, okay, we know what works and what doesn't work now. Or if you don't know, like really asking yourself, like, just trying to become more in tune with yourself, so that, and pay attention to the quote unquote game or expansion pack that you do have, and just play your game instead of worrying about who has which game or which expansion pack, or who's on what journey, or what they're seeing while they're going wherever they're going off to. You're going on your own journey, and you don't know what the trip or their journey might be like. So it's just like the idea of coveting what it's not yours, one, and two, like you don't even know what it took for them to even get there in the first place. Just like they don't know what it took for you to get where you were at in the first place when you both crossed those paths. So it's just kind of like having that mutual respect there, not even for that person, because really it's like you're putting more respect on their journey as opposed to your own, where it's like, nah, you need to be like, we're focused on getting to the quote unquote miracles, the synchronicities, following those intuitive guides and those nudges from our ancestors, spirit, saints, Jesus, whoever, when we're supposed to. We're just focused. We're doing what we're supposed to do. And just knowing that, it's like it shouldn't be any beef. It shouldn't be any problems. But that's what happens when you're on the outside looking in, and you shouldn't be operating like that. Like, and then also, like, branching off, like I kind of touched on the idea of taking like accountability and responsibility for knowing, because there's been situations I know even in my own life where I'm just like, man, I knew I shouldn't have done that, or I knew I should have done that. It works both ways, but I chose something different, and then it happens somewhere down the line. It could be a minute, a second. It could be literally from 1 second, 1 year, 10 years from now, from the line, from when I thought that. And it's just like, man, I knew. But, also it's kind of like knowing, taking accountability for that. But then also, when you take accountability for all of your actions, both perceived quote unquote good and bad, because once you take accountability and you accept and you reconcile those parts of yourself, like really reconcile those parts of yourself, then it can't really hurt you or drag you down anymore. Those quote unquote demons that stop you from doing what you're supposed to be doing, or those I don't want to say expansion packs, because like like, you know, I'm kind of thinking of it in a different way now, like the expansion packs. But wow, like, yeah, like how the expansion packs in a sense kind of like steal time in the game. Oh, okay, yeah, going back to when I was talking about the idea of, in The Sims, you could either you could pause the time where no one's aging, nothing's moving, or you could let the time go. And it's kind of like when you're focused on the expansion pack and your family in the expansion pack, it's kind of like, or anywhere in the game to, for that matter, when you're focused on just what you're doing and not what everyone else is doing, you kind of like lose track. But like, no, oh my gosh, that too, like, you lose track of them, but like also you lose track of like the game, in a sense, because you were in an expansion pack. There was different goals that you decided, or like a different path you decided to take. So like, I guess this idea of a layover, and it's kind of like you could miss your plane, you could miss your connection, you know. So now everything shifts to try and reroute you back to, you know, where you need to be. But like, now I'm really, really, really rambling the point, I guess, in a roundabout way, because this is going to be really actually kind of long, and I was trying to keep them short. It's kind of like, okay, bringing it all back now. I guess I explained that thoroughly, because now you take responsibility. You can't, those demons, those things that used to hold you back, because you've confronted them and reconciled them within yourself, you're stronger for that, and it can't hurt you. So now you could stand, like, you could stand tall and stand strong, and like, yo, like, nah, I'm better, I'm bigger than that now, right? You can't hurt me. And this can be anything, because we melanated people, especially, but all of us, but I'm speaking specifically right now in particular to melanated women all over the world. There's a lot of pain, there's a lot of hurt that needs to be confronted. But once you take responsibility for your actions and the outcomes, and not living in the past, so living life with regret, like, oh man, I wish I could be them, I wish I could be going through them. Because when you're doing that, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, so that you could get to the miracles that you wish you quote unquote had. Stop looking at other people's plate, focus on your own. It's kind of like the kid at Thanksgiving, when your eyes are bigger than your stomach. It's kind of like, man, right now you don't even want to know, like, that kind of trip. Just do what you were scheduled to do. Follow directions, you know what I mean? Follow your internal directions. But yeah, once you take accountability for all that, right? Then it's like, anyways, when I did that, I started to realize, like, yo, do I really want to believe that I have absolutely no control over my life? Like, anything could just happen out of left field with this idea of coincidence, and that did not sit right with me at all. Like, when I said, like, in my spirit, like, it had me, like, just absolutely disgusted. Like, no, that's not true. That is absolutely not true. Everything happens for a reason, right? And then it's kind of like, it makes, like, when you believe in the idea that things can happen out of nowhere with no input, like nothing happened, absolutely nothing happened, and then something happened, maybe nothing that you could see with your eyes, but nothing happened and then something happened. One, it doesn't make sense to me, but even if it was possible, for me anyway, it would make this whole quote unquote journey or trip, like, pointless. It just wouldn't matter what you did, and it doesn't, it doesn't. But then I guess the argument would be, do you want to live that way, feeling like, yo, everything's just pointless? Because really it is, but then it isn't, because all those cheesy sayings like life is what you make it, but it really is, because I mean, we could go deeper, like, you chose your body, you're choosing your experience right now. So, and that's self-explanatory. We just explained it in depth. You're choosing your experience that you're living right now, because every decision that you've made up until this point led you right to where you are. So yeah, and like, I guess I guess we could go into the idea that that saying that bad things, I think the saying goes, bad things happen to good people. And I don't necessarily believe that either. I think I was getting to that at some point. I don't know, but like, now we can really get to it. I just believe very simply that the energy that you put into something, you'll get it back. Like, that's universal law. That's oh wow, I'm hungry. I don't know if the mic heard that, but oh wow, angel number 649. Of course my stomach would growl so that I could say that, but anyways, angel number light code 649. So the energy that you put into something, you'll get back. So if you've only done good, right? If you know in your heart that you've always done quote unquote good, or you feel like you're being the best version of yourself, right? You're showing up every day, when you wake up in the morning to when you go to sleep at night. You're showing up as the best version of yourself. You're doing exactly what you want to be doing, that will make you truly happy and content. And happy and content people are not mean to other people. Happy and content people are they're sharing, they're giving, to certain points. Everyone has their boundaries, but really the main thing is people who are showing up as their higher self are not overtly mean to other people. And I think that's like really like important. So like, and like there's other aspects too, but I feel like I really needed to say that. So like, if you've only done good in your deepest heart, and you see that everyone and everything around you is just negative and just icky, low vibe, then it's kind of like realizing also that like something is coming. That's number one, because something's always seem to like come right on time when you least expect it, right? Like if you've been good anyway, right? Well, I don't even want to say if you've been good, but like if you feel, right, that you've only done good, then you should rest assured. But like, if you know, like you're saying that, oh yeah, I've only done good. I don't know why my life is the way it is. I don't know why my job is the way it is. I don't know why my relationship is the way it is, right? If you're saying that, right? And then on the back end, you got some demons you got to deal with, some shit from childhood, some shit from past relationships, some stuff from, just past stuff that you buried deep inside, instead of actually trying to work on it because it was so traumatizing to you and your psyche and your emotional and physical health, that it was just easier to just push it away, right? And now you're coming up in this relationship or this friendship or this working relationship, partnership, whatever. You're showing up to other people with those wounds, those unresolved wounds. And you know how the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. So if you're a hurt person hurting other people because you haven't resolved your own hurt, and then you're sitting here crying foul, like, I don't know why my life is the way that it is, then I gotta look at you like, really? Have you done anything different? I mean, how long, like, first you gotta sit back and think, how long have you been in whatever situation that you have been in, right? Then you gotta, I think it's called a cost benefit analysis. So you do a cost benefit analysis. On one side, you put all the costs, right? Like what, like the pros or whatever. And then on another side, you put all the cons, right? And you're gonna have to, weigh out the options. You have to weigh out the options. Like, all right, this I've been, let's say I've been broke for X amount of years, right? So it doesn't matter how long. Or I've been in this toxic relationship for X amount of years, right? And then you write down the good things, like what makes you stay, right? Like, what makes you stay in this situation that you're in now? And what have you, like, I guess on the other side you put, like, I guess what you can do. But like, basically, I don't think like you and I guess that would be like a spiritual version of a cost benefit analysis, because it's hard to put like a numerical value on certain things because people weigh certain things differently. But the point is to basically weigh out your options, and if certain ways that you were doing things is worth keeping around. So if you've been broke X amount of years, right? If you've been in a toxic relationship X amount of years, and you've done everything you can, quote unquote, to get out of that situation, and you're still in that situation, that's kind of like, okay, did I try something different? That's number one. And if you're really just trying, if you really sit here and say like you've tried everything to get out of whatever situation that you're in, I'm gonna say you're lying. You're lying to yourself, because really, I think the truth is, and I know this from my own self, that you already knew what you were supposed to do all along, but you decided not to for whatever XYZ reason. You didn't feel like it. You didn't apply as vigorously. You, in toxic relationships, maybe it was comfortable. The pay was good. Whatever the situation is, you chose it,